Hi, and welcome to this HBC Kids Talk. This week we're carrying on our series thinking about God's 10 rules for life. And we're going to be thinking about one that's really close to all of our hearts, which is how we should treat our parents. We're going to see how God wants us to honour our mums and our dads. First of all, though, I've got a 60-second challenge for you. I want you to run around your house and find 4 things that spell out the word love. So, for example, L could be a lamp or a light. Are you ready? Are you steady? Go! Welcome back! How did you get on? Did you manage to find all 4 things? I'll give you a clue. I was struggling with V for a bit until I remembered a vase. So this last few weeks, we've been thinking about God's rules for life. We see these written down in the 10 Commandments, and you find them in Exodus chapter 20. I'm going to recap the first 4 for you. First of all, we've got God is number 1. He's got to be the most important thing in our life. Number 2, no idols. Number 3, respect God's name. And number 4, rest, rejoice, and rely on Jesus. And that's what we've been thinking about for the last few weeks. Well, this week I want to think about rule number 5. And it's this. It says in Exodus 20 and verse 12, honour your mother and your father. Then you will live a long time in the land the Lord your God is giving you. Let's think about what that means. Another word for honour is respect. God wants us to respect our mum and our dad. But why? Why should I care what mum and dad think? First, we should care what mum and dad think because God says so. When God made the world, he put parents in charge of us. Now, you might have 2 parents or just 1. Either which way, God's put someone in charge of you. They're there to love you and to set boundaries for you, to help you know what you can and can't do and how to live well. God's given you them to help you know how to live. I wonder whether sometimes the grown-up who's in charge of you has said something like this: you can't have another ice cream today. You've already had one. It's not good for you to have another. That's a bit of a boring answer, isn't it? Then we could be like, Mum! We get angry and cross with them. But when we think about it, we know that if they didn't stop us and we just kept on eating ice cream, we wouldn't stay very healthy. And in the long run, it would be bad for us. So God says so, and that's why we should do it. The second reason is like the first. It's that when we obey our mum and our dad, when we honour our parents, we will live a long time in the land the Lord our God is giving us. Now that's a bit of a weird thing to say, isn't it? It's not talking about having a really long life. What it's talking about is enjoying life and being able to flourish and become people who have really good lives. God knows that when we learn as children, as young people, to honour our parents, it sets us up well to learn in school, to listen to those who give us work when we're older, to play well with a football team that has a manager, to respect the laws the government gives us for the country. And that when we learn to do that, when we learn to honour our father and mother, and through them everyone else, we will live well and live long and be happier. So what does this mean in practice? First, listen to your mum or your dad. That means doing what they say. Sometimes that can be hard. Does anyone else feel like they want to have a good old moan when their mum or dad tells them to do something or asks them to tidy their room? Sometimes we'd rather do anything else except listen to our parents. But if we want to live well the way that God says, we need to obey them. We need to do what they ask and do it without grumbling. Secondly, we can be grateful. That means saying thank you. When was the last time you said thank you to your mum and your dad without them having to ask you to do it? The Bible has lots to say about being thank you, and it makes us feel so good when we are. Just like we make time to thank God what he's done for us, we should make time to thank our mum and our dad for what they do for us. So what's God's rule? Honour your father and your mother.